Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. This is a 3 times weekly show looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club, available on video and podcast. My name is Benjamin Bloom. I'll be here each and every Monday for this, the flagship show, with ITFC aficionado David Diamond, and this week also joined by Joe Fairs for a sometimes reverent but always informative hour of football conversation. Make your Monday a Blue Monday. Joe, you took it literally when I said look down the camera when I did the intro, didn't you?
Eyeballed him.
Eyeball to eyeball. Dave, how you doing? You're back.
Right, mate. Yeah. Back. Had a week off last week. Well, almost, because then I did an hour with Stat on. Was that the Monday we did that? Yeah, on the Kevin Beattie on the passing of the beat. So that was a week off on the Sunday, but yeah, back into it on the Monday. Yeah.
And I've known you for a lot of years. You seem a bit chippy.
Today?
Yeah, you're in a bad mood.
No, not at all. No, I'm good actually.
Joe,
I'm
worried.
chippy. I'm just a bit, underwhelmed with everything, Ben. Not the pod, obviously, but
no.
the actual subject of the pod. The pod subject is Oh wow. Well, but we'll no doubt get onto that in a minute.
And hot footing it from Prezzo in Lakeside.
Ooh,
Joe, what pizza did you have?
I just went for a simple margarita.
Didn't you have 2 fried eggs on it?
No.
Oh no!
I've got a reputation for being a
diva
diva now, haven't I?
Ben's going to say, call it a pizza, no eggs.
You've got to have a Fiorentina, which makes me think of Gabriel Batistuta in that beautiful purple kit, yeah?
Yeah.
Nintendo. Going like this when he scores. Love it.
He did that quite often as well, didn't he?
Enrico Chiesa. Dave, you've already alluded to it. You had a bit of a weekend of it last week, so we go over this. We found out on Sunday that Kevin Beattie had died, so then we were all scrambling because we're like, what the hell are we going to do? And Dave's not booked on the show, so presumably he's taken Mrs. Diamond to Gordon Ramsay or something like that. He's got he's got something planned. And then you did the show on Monday, Dave. How was last weekend for you? Because
it's been weird. Out of all of us, I think Harry has probably. I'm not sure Stat saw him play, but sort of fortunate enough, as I've said many times before, to see the guy play live. And for me, it's the obviously the first one of the great era to die, really. Well, and certainly the cup final side to go, albeit obviously he nearly went 10 years prior to this, where he was given the last rights by all accounts. Yeah, it's sad. Funny, I was just out walking with Mrs. D, and the WhatsApp group sort of had a ping, and it was Mikey. Just Kevin Beattie died at about 3:30, and then you called me a few minutes later. Yeah, it was sad, but really nice for me to be able to, obviously, fortunate enough to do the pod and be able to do a sort of nice tribute to him, really.
And Statman would kill me now if I didn't mention First of the Gang to Die, the Morrissey song there.
Oh, of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would fit perfectly. But Dave, thank you for doing that show, and thank you to Statman, because
pleasure.
That was off the cuff, and I spoke to Dave on Tuesday, and for everyone who enjoyed that show and listened on audio, Dave did that with no notes whatsoever, all off the cuff and from the heart, from the memory. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it was nice. I know I spoke about that goal at Everton. It's really nice. I think Justin put the stills of the goal up, didn't he? And then obviously the wizard that is Rich got the goal. I think it was Rich who got the goal up and stuff. Yeah, and I know I backtracked a bit because I said, yeah, he's above the bar. Then I thought he couldn't have been above the bar, could he? But obviously he was. So,
yeah,
incredible. Yeah.
Moving on from one hunking great centre-back, rest in peace, Kevin Beattie, to another hunking great centre-back, Joe. James Collins will not be signing for Ipswich Town. He's now going to go and train with Aston Villa. I don't know if we're going to train with them and just keeping himself fit. Thoughts on the non-signing of James Collins, Joe?
I wasn't too disappointed with it personally, because we can't drop Chambers because we've got no leaders on the pitch, and then you've got Ntiala and Pennington who have both sort of acquitted themselves well enough here. So I don't think we needed that fourth senior centre back. So I'm not too worried.
I agree with Joe. I think, had he not brought Pennington in, then obviously there would have been a need for one, and I wouldn't have been averse to it then. But I think now he's got Pennington, as Joe said, I think Pennington has acquitted himself really well. So yeah, I couldn't really see the point of that. I wonder, although perhaps not so much now. There was talk of even him potentially going back to West Ham, but I think they had a clean sheet with Chelsea today. I think they kept Chelsea at 0-0, and I think obviously they won at Everton last week. That always happens.
Always the same.
Always the same. Same question.
Don't know. Very if very much so wasn't there. Diamond's phone ringing. Tick that one.
No, I'm not too sorry about that. Whether he goes to, probably end up at Villa or something.
Yeah, it's a two-game podcast, a 3-game week. So I'm going to delay no longer. We're going to go to the Brentford game. And how many times over the past couple of years have we had this moment where the team comes out onto it's Teresa?
She's in the house.
Is that a podcast debut? Unbelievable.
I don't quite know what happened there.
If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, watch on YouTube this week, and you'll actually get to see Mrs. D come in there on the phone. A podcast exclusive. Where was I? How many times have we had moments supporting Ipswich Town where I'm driving in. You're usually an hour away from kickoff, and Joe, you're in corporate somewhere. Dave, you're probably still at home because you live close. And you're waiting for the thing to come through on Twitter. Got the alert set up, and you read the team, and you're just like, well, I'm not even going to send anything on text because I know I'm going to receive about 50 tweets and 20 texts in a minute. Before you guys comment, let's just go through this team, and let's just point out how bullshit I've been saying Paul Hurst will never play anything other than 4-2-3-1. That's his system. We did 4-1-4-1, just reconfigure the middle three. But he won't play the 3 centre backs and the wing backs. And what do we get on Tuesday night? Gherkin in goal, and we get 3 centre backs: Spence, Pennington, Chambers, and Knudsen. Donasian then plays left wing back. Spence plays right wing back. Jallover and Skews sit. Ward is playing in an attacking midfield, or is he going to man mark Josh McEachran? Let's find out. And Jackson and Harrison up front. With Dave, we'll come to you first. What were your thoughts when you saw that selection and that system come through?
I think it was Joe that posted on WhatsApp. I said at first, like, he's taken 18 names and he's thrown them all in the air, and the ones that have come down face up, he's playing. And then Joe, I think, posted the WhatsApp Instagram thing with the lottery balls, didn't it? Was you posted that?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
I mean, that was just how it was. It was just, frankly, quite bizarre, really. I just didn't see it coming at all. I don't know what was more surprising, the 5 at the back or the 2 up front. I'm not sure, but spoiler alert, didn't really work.
Strategically, Joe, why did he do it?
I think he's almost lost his nerve a little bit, and he's just trying to stumble across something that works. It seemed. Strategically, I think he wanted to get bodies behind the ball against Brentford, put more men behind the ball, but we just did not keep the ball at all in that first half. It was like a hot potato.
I think there was a sense he wanted a fit guy, Ward, with McEachran, and I think he wanted double security each side, because sometimes with 3 at the back you can end up with kind of 2 on each side, and that Dalsgaard and Watkins are going to come forward together, and Barbe and Ben Rama are going to come forward together.
Ooh,
I think he wanted.
I liked it. He was a good player. He's a good player.
I think he wanted security on both sides and someone on the deep line playmaker. He basically said, "I'm terrified of Brentford, and I want to try and stop them." Dave.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, I thought Ward or whoever did quite a good job of McEachran, because I didn't really notice him pulling too many strings, or not in. I didn't really notice him much at all. So from that point of view, it worked. But they were still pretty much carving us open. Yeah, they should have been. Let's face it, by half time, they should have been out of sight.
So some good chances in the first half. Let's go to the first goal. Joe, do you want to take this one? So this is Nil Norwich on 30 minutes. Ipswich are they've hemmed themselves in, and they're doing that Ipswich thing where they have 25 different chances to get 10 yards up the pitch, but don't seem to manage to do it. What happens next, Joe?
I've sort of tried to blank the game from my memory, really. the first half of it, anyway. But we have 3 or 4 opportunities to clear the ball, and then I think it sort of ends up. I think it comes off Spence. Or does it potentially where a ball loops up in the air?
I think it's Ward actually.
Ward is back there.
I think it's Ward. It's all off his heel, isn't it? Yeah, weird one.
Mopai's on about the penalty spot, and he just it's a really good header to be fair.
It's a great goal.
That's clever, really clever goal.
Goalkeeper doesn't stand a chance. It's right in the top corner. There's no pace on the ball. It's just dropping to him, and he generates a hell of a lot of power and a lot of distance on it, and it just floats into the top corner. A really good goal.
And probably deserved, Dave, at that point, would you say?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Awful, mate. We were really worse than awful. Dreadful, yeah. And such a shame after, the old players being there at the start, the cup final, most of the cup final side and other players from that era being there. So, the night was there, poised, ready to go. And it was just, from our point of view, just such a damn squib, wasn't it, that first half? God, it was dreadful.
Indeed. We won't. We're not TMZ, so we won't go into all the rumours that were flying around at half time. But it was starting to get pretty dark. I went and saw Dave out the back of the stand, and all a little bit depressing. And frankly, I didn't expect him to make the changes that he did at half time. But we come back out.
Well, you made a good comment, I think, at half time, which struck a chord with me when you said, "Oh, I was fairly up, and I could see I've been seeing what he was trying to do. You've seen most of the games up until last Saturday, up until the whole game, and then tonight, and you were shaking your head saying, I just can't see where it's going."
Indeed. So second half. Sorry, Joe, go on.
I think the regression from sort of Sheffield Wednesday away game to the Norwich game, to the whole game, to that first half at Brentford.
There's a definite line there, isn't
worse
there?
And worse.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. So Nolan comes in for Spence. Edwards comes in for Harrison. And normally I can think on my feet. I had to rewrite the whole formation. I was so confused with what was going on. So you never got a back four. Donasian has gone from left wing back to right back. Pennington's gone from right side of three into Chambers. Knudson's gone from centre back to left back. Skuse and Chalobah are basically the only ones who've stayed where they are. Edwards has come in down the right. Ward has now moved to the left. Nolan's come in the 10 position. And Jackson's up front on his own. So complete reshuffle and back to what we expect Paul Hurst to be kind of building on and, getting the juices flowing. And Joe, it was it was a lot better in the second half. What was different?
Well, I think we'd gone from a position in the first half where we were sitting behind the ball, just trying to stop them, and in the second half, we decided no, we're going to try and take the game to them and press them high up the pitch. We didn't so the only person we really allowed time the ball was the goalkeeper. We didn't allow the goalkeeper to pass it short to their fullback, so they couldn't build it. And we just moved ourselves probably 20 yards up the pitch and just pushed on from there. And yes, we did get caught out a couple of times, but you're going to get caught out against a side like Brentford, but. It was just so much. That's the Paul Hurst that I'd been expecting sort of from day one here. The high press, pushing up, really working hard. And that's sort of what I'd expect. And I was really sort of came away from the game thinking that second half has potentially saved him and he stumbled across something there.
Dave, thoughts on what Joe's just said, and can you segue into the goal for Caden Jackson for us as well?
Yeah, I agree with what Joe said, and I've banged on about that before, that sometimes you sort of stumble on something. You stumble on a formation and it sort of kind of worked, and it did second half, although... Looking at it another way, probably Brentford had more clear-cut chances second half than they did in the first half. I mean, some lovely fall. One of them would have been a great goal where they just, I think, won the ball wide and passed, I think through Canos and passed it square. But we were. Yeah, it was fairly even second half, but we were certainly playing. We were more on the front foot. Yeah, as Joe said, we were pressing higher up the pitch, and probably. I think what Knudsen had a pretty good effort. Perhaps should have done better with smart save by the keeper low down, and we probably just about in the end deserved the equaliser. Which was it 70 minutes, something like that? Was it 70?
If you carry on and do it, I can tell you 72.
2 minutes. I think it originally comes from a sort of a typical Knudsen loopy cross, which goes out too far. Skuse does really well because Skuse, I think Barbet's perhaps wide left, looking to just bang it big up the line, and Skuse closes him down.
I think it's Watkins, Dave.
Was it Watkins?
Possibly. If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong.
Barbet on the left side, but might well have been. he closed him down well. Watkins just can only pass it, I don't know, 10, 20 yards up the line, straight towards, slips in Chalobah. And a good thing about it, Chalobah, it's a really good cross because it's an early one. He gets it out of his feet quite early and just clips in a good cross with pace. And I've got to say, a great finish by Jackson. He's obviously got across his man. And it's one of those crosses where, a bit like the cross for... we got another goal this season like that. Lawrence
McGinn to Codger.
McGinn to Codger, and certainly McGinn to Codger, and also Lawrence for Derby from the cross from Bennett. That sort of goal.
Yes.
The cross makes a goal, and Jackson just gets on it, and great finish, really good finish, and
Joe,
1-1. Probably just about deserved,
Joe, when we did the preview show, you were telling me about Chalobah, and you saying, look, it's now or never. If you get him, he's going to be too good next season. When he received that ball and just moved forward and put that beauty cross in, I was kind of like, is that the player that Joe was telling me? It was a beautiful assist, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was a really good cross. It's not something that I even expected him to have in his game, really, a cross like that, because he's always been a central player. But I know he did play right back for sort of Chelsea and sort of a number of times, so he's obviously a player there. But he is a player that can do everything, I would say, but it's just a case of putting it together.
And boys, one word answer, Dave, is Caden Jackson. He's now basically played himself into the striking position. You agree?
Yeah,
Joe.
Yes, yeah.
He started to look really useful in that game, and it was you've got Harrison, who seemed to have had a lot of aerial work to do, but when you slid it behind for Jackson, he really is quick, isn't he?
Oh, it showed yesterday. We'll get onto that, but yeah, just a shame he couldn't finish that one at the end. There's a lovely bit of play, really nice ball from Downs, who obviously was looking to redeem himself after having a bit of a mare at Hull. Obviously, lovely sharp ball, and he was on it, and it just his first touch, or perhaps second touch, just wasn't good enough. Just got it out of his feet a bit, and he obviously hit the side net, and that was a good chance. That shame.
Okay, a few technical problems. Dave, we just dealt with Jackson, but let's just go to summings up on that one. Are we back in the not winning but positives? Are we in the could have been calamitous but survived by the skin of our teeth, Joe?
Yeah. It was a definite game of two halves, and I think we learned that the three at the back did not suit us at all. But I actually walked away from the game thinking, if we play like we did in that second half, we'll win more than we lose. And if we can carry that form on for the rest of the season, then there's no way we'll go down.
Dave?
Yeah, pretty much agree with that. Really, yeah, it was much more positive second half. Yeah, that experiment in the first half clearly did not work.
How good are Brentford, Dave? Out the back, you said they're not going to finish top two, but they'll finish.
I just don't think they will. Because they'll give you chances, won't they? I don't think they'll finish top two. Yeah. There's enough talent in the side, and they play some nice football. There's enough there to get them in the playoffs, I'd have thought. But I just can't see them being consistent enough for top two. And perhaps result yesterday bore that out a bit.
Right, Joe on Brentford.
Yeah, a really good side. I just don't think they're going to score. They missed too many chances for me. That Mopai, he scored a lot of goals this season already, but he looks like he could have had double what he's scored just from watching the highlights. He misses some absolute sitters, and I think when it comes down to the business end in those big games, you have to take those chances.
Well, big games, big occasions. We're all about big occasions here at the Blue Monday podcast, and on November the 24th, we have our own big occasion. Dave, it's the Blue Monday live show, November the 24th at the Curve Bar. We announced this last week, and 10% of the tickets immediately went. So there's a lot of people saying, oh yes, I'm going to come. And this isn't me with my businessman sales pitch hat on, because if we're going to do that, I'd get Dave to do that, because he's far better at it than me anyway.
I think what was positive there, Ben, that we announced the ticket sales before Ed Sheeran announced his Ipswich dates, which I think was pretty crucial, don't you?
Well, and no one will moan about our ticket prices then, won't they, when they see it? When they see Ed's.
A tenth of what Ed is.
Joe, I went and had a look at the venue. So we've got side bit, we've got our own private bar, and then it'll be upstairs into the upper floor for the show. We've got Dave's confirmed, Harry from Bath's confirmed. Joe is confirmed. There's going to be a little This Week in ITFC history with Dave. And what was happening on the Kings of Anglia podcast, Joe?
Well, Andy revealed that him and Stu will be live at the festival too.
So you should have just been announcing that just now, but cat out of bag. Yes, I saw Andy and Stu from EADT on Tuesday night briefly, and then they had to get that approved. So they're going to come and do a bit as well. We're going to have all sorts of quizzes there. You know, there's going to be some surprises, Dave.
Stat's going to be there, isn't he?
Stat's going to be there. There's a
you missed out Stat.
No, I didn't. I said there's a This
Stat.
Week in ITFC History segment, which can only mean the Renegade Statman. But in all seriousness, this is something we've been planning for. Well, we haven't been planning for it. People have asked us to do it for about 2 years, haven't they, Dave?
When it was just me and you. Yeah, it was quite good. Someone did say that were we going to wheel in for authenticity the old close era from the original pod bunker?
No, I don't know where that is. That's in close era, close horse hell somewhere. But it's going to be a great event. We're really, really looking forward to it. If you go to at Blue Monday ITFC on Twitter, you'll be able to find the link on eventbrite.co.uk. Please grab some tickets in advance because we know we're going to be running around 2 days before trying to sort everybody out with tickets. You can just buy them now. It's really is. It's going to be a great day. Everyone's going to join in. We're going to record it live. It's going to go out as a podcast. So when we do the questions and stuff, CV game.
After the West Brom game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's after we face my new favourite triumvirate of Barnes, Rodriguez and Gale. We're going to have a lovely old time.
It's a couple of hours after we face free-scoring West Brom.
But it's going to be fun. It's at 7 o'clock, so go to the game. You can either go straight to the Curve and have some drinks there. We've got our own bar there. You can go and get something to eat and then come back. It's going to be brilliant. CV game's back. I've plugged it for too long now, haven't I?
Yeah, nice one, Ben. Yeah.
Buy a ticket, Joe. Buy a ticket. It's going to be lovely. Now, something I did was I bought a ticket for Ipswich Town versus Bolton Wanderers this past Saturday. Why? Every time I do a really good seg, Dave, literally, he's like, awful.
No, McCrean. Your linkage is superb tonight. Absolutely superb. Seamless link. Unbelievable, mate.
I did buy a ticket, Dave.
Polished.
Ipswich Town versus the Bolton Wanderers.
You did.
Where
did you sit? Where were you sitting yesterday? I didn't notice.
Directly above you, Dave. Block H of the Pioneer.
Central.
Yeah, a little bit more central. Lovely seat. Do you know why I like it? No one in front of me. Whole aisle, back row. Yeah, stretch my feet out. You know me. If I could sit in an isolated booth at football and nobody touch me, look at me, or talk to me for the whole game.
Ben's idea is sitting. He wouldn't want to be in a box, but sitting on his own chaise lounge in a smoking jacket with a cigarette holder.
Like that room you get if you pay extra at the theatre, yeah? Yeah. Awesome.
With some theatre glasses as well.
The little binoculars and some ice cream, yeah. I'm everything Roy Keane was talking about when he blamed about the Old Trafford atmosphere. There you go. Ipswich versus Bolton. And Joe, this is the one everybody said, right, this is the one. There's a 3-game week coming up. We played well against Brentford. It's game number 9. We're going to get the win. We're at home to Bolton. What were your expectations going in?
I was expecting the same team, same style as the second half, just to go at Bolton from the off and to get a nice sort of 2 or 3 goal victory.
Easy as that. Well, you nearly got the same team. So the big selection thing here was that Toto and Ciala, is he a Scouser? I heard him interviewed the other day. I expected him to have some. What nationality is he?
Oh God, we've been through this, haven't we? I don't know.
Congo.
Was he
Congo. So I expected him to have some thick Congolese accent, and I
think that's right, Joe. He started with the Everton Academy, didn't he? I believe. Yeah, I think so.
Because I heard him interviewed the other day, and he came from the Congo. He lived in Paris till he was about 12, and then speaks with a thick Scouse accent.
Brilliant. There you go. Anyway, we wondered whether Hurst would bring his boy Ciala straight back in, and I think from our discussions between the Blue Monday team, we expected him to be on the bench for Danassian to keep his place and for, to not give himself that headache. But it was Gherkin in goal, Knudsen left back, Chambers and Ciala. So Ciala came straight in, and Ipswich Town have a centre back playing at right back again. So Pennington, who I think we all agree is a pretty damn good player, and we'd like him in the team all season if possible. So Skuse and Chalobah are holding, and this is the team, Joe, that finished Brentford. Edwards, Nolan, Ward are the three, and Jackson off the front. Dave, that selection, the Donacien, with hindsight or without hindsight, what are your thoughts on that defensive configuration?
Well, we know why, because they can't, because of the loanee situation and the number of loanees. They still haven't. I mean, I just can't. It's ridiculous when you think about it. They still haven't sorted out this work permit for Donacien, so he can't be. Someone's got to drop out, and he. I mean, it doesn't rain, it pours. He obviously clearly made the decision that he wanted Walters, who had been struggling all week. Obviously missed the whole game. With Achilles injury, and obviously trained towards the end of the week, and he wanted him in the squad, and so he had him on the bench, and Donacien was the one to drop out.
Is Donacien the new Freddie Sears? Is he the fall guy when a decision needs to be made?
Sorry, Ben. Clearly, he is at the moment until we get this bloody work permit sorted out. I mean, I don't know. Couldn't make it up. I don't think.
Well, I suppose it isn't going to matter now, because I can't imagine John Walters is going to be back soon.
No. I mean, now when I saw him, spoiler alert, but when I saw him at the end, he didn't walk. He was supported by two of the medical staff, and it didn't look like his. I think Hurst subsequently said it was his calf, and he had ice and a pack round his calf. It didn't look like it was high for his Achilles. So that looked a bad one.
I gained some notoriety on YouTube for having a complete meltdown at the Reebok Stadium in January when these two teams last played, and I promise you, this wasn't as bad. This game wasn't as bad as that one. That one was just the pits, honestly. This was, at least the ball stayed in play for more than 3 minutes per half.
Was the game.
In this game.
I remember that one, yeah.
But it wasn't great, Dave. Bolton seemed to have, some threat. They were gnarly to play against, as we expected, but I think it's minute 33. We will skip straight to. And do you want to take us through this red card situation?
Yeah, it was a really good bit of play from Ward. I mean, that just shows what he can do, which I find.
Chambers beforehand, Dave.
Chambers, what do you
Chambers wins 2 50-50s and clears it up the line beforehand. Brilliant.
Breaks for Ward. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. But Ward, and I don't know about you, Joe, it just shows what he can do. Infuriates me a bit, because he's got that in his locker, hasn't he? So good bit of close control. Isn't he? Yeah, good bit of close control. Sort of glided past, broke the line, as we say, glided past. Defend the guy who's marking him, and another defender, I think, plays in, and a lovely little ball, plays in Jackson. That's where he showed his pace, because he was level with Wilson, I think, and he left him absolutely for dead. Ref, where I was dead level with that, got it exactly right. The first, he pulled Jackson originally outside the box, and then, there was a second sort of trip and a stumble inside the box, and I think the ref got that nailed on. He definitely, the first contact was outside the box, and he obviously had the balls to pull the red card, which was the right decision, I think.
Joe,
he was in.
Yeah, no, I agree with Dave. The only sort of thing that I thought I saw is it looked like when Ward had the ball on the touchline, it looked like it actually went off for a throw-in. But if it didn't go off, it was very, very close to it.
Right. Yeah.
But Jackson, that was never out, Joe. I was at least 40 metres from that. That never went out.
but Jackson was. There was no trick. He just knocked the ball past Wilson and just ran him. Just absolutely ran him, and he could not live with him. And like I say, I suppose interestingly, had Wilson fouled him 2 yards later, he wouldn't have been sent off, would he? Because it'd have been a penalty. And
I said in my match review, I almost would have preferred, with hindsight, that would have been a better outcome from.
Most definitely. How the game panned
because you knew exactly Bolton were going to go to this 4-4-1. Dave, what did you make of little Otsuma, and have you ever seen a shorter player?
No, I haven't. I liked him. Oh, Jody Morris, I'd say. He was in the Jody Morris
This guy
bracket.
must have been 5'2", mustn't he?
Do you reckon Morris is taller than him? Yeah, Morris was pretty short, wasn't he? But he was tiny, wasn't he? Neat and tidy little player, but he looked like his mum was calling him in for tea when he got called off. When he got. I always feel sorry for the guy who gets subbed when someone gets a red card in the first half, because it's not really fair, is it? there was obviously, I think, they were obviously going to go 4-4-1, and I think they said, well, they're not going to get rounders, so there's going to be aerial bombardment. So they put on, I forget who, they put on Wheater, who's about 6'3". He must have been at least a foot taller, if a foot and a bit taller than the guy who went off. So yeah, it was an easy decision. Yeah, and I agree with you, Ben. It was always going to be a slog after that. We were going to have a lot of the ball, but not have the nous to break them down.
Yeah, so I mean, you've pretty much nailed the whole rest of the game there, Dave, by saying the nous to break them down. So we get up to half time, and we didn't really know how to play the 10 men. We were confused for the rest of the first half, and I'm sitting there thinking, right, everybody stay calm. You've got 45 minutes to score a goal. You don't have to do it. Ian Wright always says, if it's the 3rd minute or the 83rd minute, get your chance, score the goal. So the change he makes seems sensible, but with hindsight, it just clogged the area where Bolton's deep midfielders were. Sorry, Dave.
Chalobah was on a yellow, wasn't he, Joe?
Yeah, so
he was. Yeah.
So Chalobah comes out, so possible red card risk, but moreover, Dave, he's taking one holding guy out. What that served to do though was it really did clog everything. But that's how Bolton wanted it. Edwards and Ward switched sides, and it's the 4-1-4-1, more the formation we saw at Sheffield Wednesday, where just one holding guy in there. And I don't know really if I want to talk about this second half. Joe, can you summarise from 46 to the double substitution at 68?
Crap.
Crap.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. We didn't move the ball quickly. We were just ponderous. Knudsen was getting up on the left, but Pennington, as expected, being a centre back, wasn't pushing on the right. We weren't overloading them. We didn't get balls into the box. And anything that did go in was just either floated too deep or hit the first man. The only person that was giving us any drive from the midfield was Scouse, was picking the ball up and making forward runs, and that was the only time we had any success. And I didn't really understand the decision to take him off.
So,
I know he's
that's a good segue.
A screening midfielder.
Let's go to the substitutions, because that's a good way to get there. So we're going to go 4-4-2 now. Graham's going to come in for Ward. Walters is going to come in for Skews. Edwards goes right again. Graham's down the left. How about this for a hard tackle in midfield for Graham, Eden, Nolan, Edwards across the midfield there. Dave, why did he take Skews off and leave Nolan on? Nolan, I really like Nolan, but he was pathetic, wasn't he?
No. He just doesn't take a risk. I watched him yesterday, and I like him. I'll just tell you, I like him. There's a player there, I quite like the way he's obviously 2-footed. He's quite comfortable getting the ball out of his feet, left foot, right foot. But he's so safe, Ben. He'll pass and he won't follow the pass. So yesterday, I think, what it cried out for, when you receive that ball, I don't know, 30, 40 yards out, get it into your strike and follow the ball in, for a 1-2 or just following the second ball. But he just didn't. He just passed and hung back, and very, very safe. And Joe said, very ponderous. And Eden was, and I like Eden. I think Eden's a really good player, neat and tidy. But even he was sloppy in possession, as dreadful, just careless with the ball. When it was crucial that you weren't up. In that, when you're up against 4-4, very, very sloppy all over, I thought.
So the pressure was building. The pressure built up until that substitution, and then it kind of subsided for 5 minutes after that sub as they readjusted, and then you get the most Ipswich thing possible, where you've got your one-man advantage, you're tiring the team down, you're wearing the opponents out, and on 78 minutes, Joe, what happens?
John Walters is sort of running the ball down the sort of edge of the area, and then pulls up lame.
I thought he just miscontrolled it at first, but Dave, it's not an Achilles, was it?
No.
Don't think so. Now they're saying it's a calf. So, and like I said, when he went off, he had around the back of his leg, not low on his ankle. It was if it had done his Achilles like that, if he ruptured his Achilles, they'd have got the golf cart on. Definitely, he wouldn't have walked off like that. So they're saying it's his calf. So yeah, it looked a bad one. As you said earlier, this might solve the Donasian thing for a few weeks anyway.
Yeah, and Paul Hurst alluded to this in his post-match. He said that the players didn't process that happening very well. They automatically, I think what he was getting at is that they seemed to think that they were a man light now, when they weren't. It was just 10 versus 10, and there was more
Yeah,
space.
maybe. Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, when you guys are talking about the passing and this and that, I don't know whether this just goes into. They just look terrified. They're so low on confidence and not wanting to
Almost,
lose.
it's almost Nolan, especially. It's almost too deliberate. You know, he's almost been trying to be too careful with the ball. And when you're like that and you're not playing naturally and off the cuff and stuff, you're not relaxed. What it is, they're not relaxed on the ball. You know what I'm trying to say? They're just not. You know, you got to relax, pick a pass, be. You know, they're just too tense, for God's sake. Yeah, and it's,
we're not a side that's very good in possession.
No, we're
not
not.
a side we're not a team that likes to have the ball. We're a team that wants to get the ball, attack relatively quickly, give the ball back, and then try and win it back. We're not. As soon as we start passing the ball amongst our defenders and our midfielders, we just look like we're just waiting to lose it. It's not like when you see, obviously it's not like this, but when you see like Barcelona, it's just pop, 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 waiting for that sort of thing to open up. It's pass,
but at the same level,
touch,
Joe,
pass back.
Fulham and Wolves last year at our level, yeah.
Well, Brentford on Tuesday, when they get the ball, they're positive, they pass, they get men around the ball. If they want to move it one touch, they move it one touch. We don't. It's a pass, take a touch, roll it to Enciala. Enciala knocks it back across to
very
Nixon.
deliberate and predictable and just easy to play against.
Interesting. So we see the game out. There's a great block by Enciala, I think, from
that was Chambers,
Hobbs.
actually.
Was it Chambers? Beg your pardon.
Chambers, brilliant.
From Waiter.
As Wheater. Did Hobbs head it down for him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
possibly.
right. Sorry, I've got that the wrong way.
Yeah,
around.
great. Brilliant defender.
But Dave, Jordan Graham did his 30 seconds of, I am actually a good player that he does
Very
game.
good. I mean, that was good. That would cry out for that. So he got the ball wide left and real burst of pace, and cut inside as he does. But as we know, his sort of signature move, really, don't we? But got the free kick, and that was the best delivery of the day. Because I've got to say, Ward's deliveries yesterday were pathetic. I've got to say, they're just high, loopy corners that are just so easy to defend. And a great ball in and a great header from Chambers. What a save. I mean, I was right behind that. I thought it was more in the corner, actually. But, I thought actually at the time, I thought that's just an incredible save. It's a really good, strong hand from Alec. That was the only save he had to make all game, wasn't it? And unfortunately for us, he pulled it out and it went wide. Great save. That was really, it. That was the chance. That was the sum really of it, really.
Being the only chance. So,
I don't think Bolton had a shot. Bolton didn't have an effort on target, I don't think.
Well, I said in my post-match, Dave, as soon as you get a guy sent off after 33 and you're away from home, if you leave that place with a clean sheet, then job done, move on, don't lose.
Yeah, the big guy was at McGuinness up front. It was a bit of a low. Was he really?
No, he won everything against Chambers.
Yeah, he's so slow, but what he gave him, because he's such a unit, he gave him a presence, which he was a good out for that point of view. Yeah, he was a presence. I don't think he did much. But he gave him a presence, which was good for them.
I was surprised, given he had no support. They didn't just say, "Look, Enciala, when the ball goes up, you take him." There's no other danger, and you'd rather have Chambers receiving the ball.
Because we got one of my favourite players, but Noon. Oh, I love Noon, but he didn't feature at all. Really, he was there, but he didn't really feature, did he? So very disappointing. So disappointing.
Joe, what is the what's your thoughts on? It's another draw. We're going to see in the question, some people argue that we're not actually that bad defensively. His first clean sheet, actually, unbeaten at home. But I think everybody's now looking, as each game ticks on and there's a 0 in the win column, that it's just it's beginning to get absurd, the length of. I mean, I don't know. Statman will tell us the last time Ipswich went 9 games without a win, or Dave, you might know from probably Jewel or.
Well, we certainly, I don't know, 9 games, don't know. We certainly went, we go 7 games without the goal last year, didn't we?
But we got draws in those. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, sure. Sorry.
So it it must have been what led to Jules sacking. I think because I think we won the second game of the season, then we sacked him after 12, and we hadn't won again. So that must have been 10 games.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why was this one particularly deflating, Joe?
Because Bolton aren't a very good side. We're at home. We're playing against 10 men for an hour, and we didn't threaten. Like I say, had we just battered the goal down, the keeper made 3 or 4 good saves, hit the bar, hit the post, really went for it. But the game was so flat, and the players just didn't seem to understand that we needed to score a goal here. We were playing at times like we were 1-0 up, and we were happy with that goal.
Yeah, I actually think they were going for it, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They weren't good enough. I agree. I just weren't good enough. They weren't good enough to pass the ball through. Weren't good enough to. How many times did we actually get to the line yesterday? I don't think once, did we? No, I can't think of one. So it wasn't a case of getting to the line and bad service, final ball or anything like that. We didn't have any of that service around the box at all. And the corners were dreadful. We didn't have anything, I didn't think, yesterday.
Was he unlucky with Walters, or it's very easy to say, "Oh, that was silly," when you know that he's going to get injured? But surely that's a bit of bad luck, Joe, isn't it?
Well, it's always bad luck if a player gets injured. But what I find difficult to understand is we hear about Andre Dazelle. He can't get back in the team because his knee's not up to football, even though he's playing 90 minutes week in, week out. John Walters, by all accounts, doesn't train every day. He's had an Achilles injury, which has forced him to miss a game on Tuesday, but yet he's deemed fit enough to come on for 25 minutes on Saturday. Well, this fitness stuff that Hurst talks about just seems to have so many double standards about it.
It seemed
the players
to be really
have got to be super fit.
Seemed to be really convincing at the start of his tenure, Joe, didn't it? When he talked about fitness, I was like, oh, this guy's on it with the fitness,
Yeah, and that's what he's gone on and on about. But then we play games where someone, like, without harking back to previous games, Jordan Graham comes in for the Norwich game and isn't fit at all. Like I say, John Walters was huffing and puffing after about an hour against both Norwich and Hull. And it's like, if you want to get your players fit and you want to have a real strong pressing game, you get your players fit. You sign John Walters and you give him a 2-week intensive sort of training session to get him up to speed. You do the same with Jordan Graham. I don't know. It just seems. It all seems a bit panic at the moment for me.
Dave, I'm going to go to the questions because I think we can sit and discuss now, but I think we'll steal some of the listeners' thunder. So I'll come to you first, Dave. This is Jay Cook. I think that's Jonathan. Is that Jay Cook? Possibly. Sorry if I got that wrong. Dave, your verdict on Nolan. In my view, he's a passenger in most games, playing in a position where we need someone to orchestrate. Eden looks so much better on and off the ball. Time for Dazelle.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, I think Nolan, very surprised he didn't. Very surprised he stayed on yesterday, actually, because clearly, like I said, I think there's a player in there, but he's clearly suffering lack of confidence, I think, and it's one of those things. Yesterday, the harder he tried, pretty much the worse he got yesterday.
Do you both?
So, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Do you both agree with me that he's very much got Nsiala and Nolan's backs? It seems like they're his boys, aren't they?
Seems like it.
Yeah. Well, he did drop Nolan on Tuesday, in fairness.
Oh, he did, actually.
True.
You're right, he did.
True. No,
he did.
Right. Joe, this is Vinamaipo. You can come in on this one as well, Dave. How accountable is Marcus Evans on the decline of Ipswich Town? Give a score out of 1 to 10, where 1 is completely unaccountable and 10 is completely accountable.
It's so difficult to know, isn't it? Because, well, like I say, he's effectively saved the club with his financial commitment, and he continues to bankroll us to the tune of £6 million a year. But yeah, he's made poor decisions with, other than Mick McCarthy and Paul Hurst as a to be confirmed, he's made poor decisions with management, poor decisions on sort of signings and players, and giving money to the wrong people. And ultimately, the buck does stop with him. He's the decision maker, and we haven't gone forwards in his ownership.
That's all well and good, Joe, but Vinamaipo wants a number out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Dave,
yeah, I'm hovering around a 7, I think.
Lovely stuff. Dave,
can I just say as a caveat, never should have got rid of Magilton. Carry on.
Just throw that one in there and let that ruminate, Dave. Yeah.
Just throw that little grenade in there.
This is Paul.
Pull a pin, lob it.
If Paul Hurst does go, Who comes in to replace him? If it is another pragmatic manager, would it not be best for Paul Hurst to continue and show faith even if we get relegated?
There's only one man who can save us, Ben. There's only one man. Ian Holloway. Joe, what do you reckon?
I don't think.
No,
I don't think it'll be good for the pod.
I'm pointing at Ben. That was for
Oh
Ben.
my
Think
God.
how good exactly. Think how good it'd be for the pod. It'd be awesome every week. We'd get him on. We'd probably get him on.
No.
You get him to go head to head with you.
Stop now, David. Stop it. Okay. Andy G. Unbelievable. We didn't really answer that, did we?
No, we didn't. Sensible answer. Sensible answer. I'd Warburton. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, no, I like Warburton. That'd be my choice, but I'd imagine we'd probably end up someone more like Simon Grayson.
Yes.
We can do this one for YouTube only, I think, because this is a visual exercise here from Andy Grimes. Hands up, who blames Magical Vegas?
For what?
Everything. Brexit. Trump.
Kit looking terrible. You never have a good season with bad looking kit.
Kit looking terrible. Yeah.
Oh, someone's got to debunk Joe Fairs on that. Right. On Twitter, please. You never have a good season with a bad looking kit. Someone tell me someone who won a trophy with a bad looking kit.
That must Norwich. Every kit of Norwich's is bad, so
but it hasn't won anything.
Oh, he's going.
Hey.
Third round of UEFA Cup with a dreadful shirt.
Good team. This is Jules. What is it now? 24 players used so far. Hurst doesn't know his best team or formation. My question is, our youngsters, and he lists lots of them. So maybe we'll go to Joe for this one of his youngsters, Dave. Why are they not being used over loan players?
I'd like to know because it seemed that when Evans was talking about this 5-point plan when he did his on-camera interview, the sort of the job remit was very much about using what we have here, using the coaching structure we have in place and the players we have in place. But Hurst has come in and not really looked to do that. And whether that's the case that he just wants to have a year getting his feet under the table, making sure he's getting up to speed at this division before he then slowly starts to integrate them, we might not ever find out.
Dave, this is Chris Denny. Similar one, but a bit more specific on Nolan. Can you see Eden being used as a 10 instead of Nolan?
Yeah, I can.
Did he play that? I was at this blooming game. Did he play there against Wednesday, or was he? No, he was in the two behind, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. I think we'd lose a lot of what Eden brings in that he picks up the ball from deep and drives forward. I think if you're playing him too far ahead of the ball, I'm not sure that role suits him.
I don't know. Something's got to give with Nolan. Something's got to give, and soon. I think. It'd be interesting to see if he starts on Saturday.
This is a good one. I like these ones because you can give a one-word answer, guys. This is Benjamin Steed. What an excellent name. How many games?
An excellent name.
What a name! Lovely name. Oh God, sorry. I was on Twitter the other day and I saw a thing of Brian Clough on his last game talking to Barry Davis just as he's finished, and he starts crying. My God. Went straight to my heart. Sorry, Benjamin Steed. Barry Davis makes everything better, doesn't he?
Did you see that documentary about him? When he retired, brilliant. Yeah,
can you imagine him even just like, I don't know, if he smoked? Can I have 20 B&H, please? Lovely cigarette. That'd be brilliant.
Box of matches. I know, it's David Coleman. Shit, we're all...
And you have to say that's magnificent. Gascoigne. Benjamin Steed.
Sorry.
How many games can Hurst last without winning? I'm going to go for 15.
I'd say 3 more.
Next pontoon.
Next international break. If we
that's
haven't
12.
won by 12, so 3 more games.
We've got some stinkers coming up as well after Saturday.
Hang
on. What is Saturday's game? 10. Would Saturday be 10?
Birmingham's 10. Borough is 11. Swansea is 12.
I'll go 12.
Well, it's interesting. I was going to bring this up later in the pod, but that really does seem like a pivotal date, that when there's a 2-week gap after. It's going to be 12 games up, which is pretty much a quarter of a quarter of a
So
season.
2-week gap after the Swansea game.
So October the 6th is Swansea, and then it's QPR on the 20th. You know, you could get a manager in to play against his former club against QPR there. Wow. Harvey Davies. How worrying is it that Hurst still doesn't know his best starting 11 10 games in? Whose turn is it?
Very. I was going to say very worrying. I'm not going to say any more. Go on, Joe.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. I was going to say very worrying.
Andy, are we secretly enjoying this season because it's at least something different and we have loads to talk about?
No.
It was for the first couple of games, wasn't it? It was great fun, and the ratings were fantastic, Andy. But the more we lose, I'm worried that our listeners are going to drop off. Please don't.
We just reverted to type, haven't we? That's the problem. I mean, if anyone, tell you what, anyone who came to that game yesterday, and certainly the first half.
I know what you're going to say. Don't say it.
I'm not, but you would. If you didn't know, you'd say, oh, he's got to go.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say. And
no, not the current manager. You
covered up the dugout and you didn't know who was managing.
No, exactly. In a sort of like a 4-month time warp or something like that, honestly.
I don't know. I think we'd have looked more organised.
Just a step to
point,
the left. I bet you need it time. You said time warp.
I did.
David, at Hearts and Bones. Surely it's better to back Hurst and battle relegation than chuck everything back up in the air and start yet again. Is that a question, Joe?
Yeah, I suppose it is a question. If
it's
we're
got
going
a
to go down,
mark at the end of it.
It starts with surely as well.
Don't call me Shirley.
But no, I am.
Airplane, Dave.
If you think he's the right man, then yeah, you back him and you continue to stick with him and hope he comes good. But like I say, there seems to be so much talk coming out of the club at the moment about relationships between members of staff, which obviously take with a pinch of salt because it's always a lot leakier when results aren't good. But if things are to be believed, Hurst may not be the right man.
Dave, have you not seen Airplane with Leslie Nielsen?
I'm sure I have.
There's like a joke every 3 seconds. You'd love it. Don't call me Shirley, as he keeps saying it. And it's one of those jokes. It's like this is the type of stuff I write. It's one of those where it's not really funny, then it gets funny, and then it becomes awkward. And that's my favourite. When it becomes awkward afterwards.
Well, that's Brent, isn't it?
Well, this is Alistair, and we love Alistair. Putting aside emotional reactions, how much precedent is there for a manager to fail to win his first 10 games and have turned it around in 6 months?
What? Sorry, what was the question again? What?
How much precedent is there? I think he's basically saying this never happens. You fail to win your first 10 games. Whoever has failed to win their first 10 games and then turned it around, does it become just impossible and you need to change it?
I think he's right. I think that 12 game mark before the next break. If that monkey isn't off our backs by then I think something might well happen.
Simon's asked about Nolan. You've talked about him. Luke. I've lost pretty much all faith now. Luke, it's okay, we're here from you. Too many changes and starting 11. Brentford's second half was a great platform to build upon, but Saturday was abject. The players must take some responsibility. You may have lost faith, Luke, but that's not a question, so we can't answer that, but don't lose faith. Comment. Dazelle, have we done Dazelle today? Are we bored of talking about Dazelle? I've got to the point with Hughes.
I watch him play tomorrow night, so.
Are they here tomorrow night? Who they got?
Yeah, Coventry at 7 o'clock at Portman Road.
They're top of the league. Are we top of that league?
Yeah, and the under 18s are top of the league.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're playing really well, aren't they? Did you go yesterday?
Yeah, 5-0. I missed the first 2 goals, but
who's shining for them? Anyone in particular?
Well, Zach Brown has scored 7 goals last 3 games. Charlie Brown's brother, who signed for Chelsea, so he's sort of the main man.
Brother, was it?
Yeah, his younger brother. So
yeah, bloody Charlie Brown went to Chelsea for peanuts, didn't he?
Very good. I was going to go with the cha-cha slide. That has Charlie Brown, and it doesn't. Lewis. What's going to happen first? Bishop Hughes or Adeyemi play, or the first team get a win? Got to be the
Hughes
first
doesn't
team
sound
win.
far off, does it?
We're talking FA Cup third round here, aren't we? It might happen on the same weekend.
It has to be first team win. There's no sign of any of them. Sorry, Joe, you go to all the games. Joe, what's happened to Hughes?
Well, he was playing, and then he sort of didn't play the last 2 games, but apparently he's back training again. I just wonder whether he's someone that, if Hurst is thinking his job is on the line in the next few games, whether he just risks him because he is such a good player.
And he'll get the crowd
chuck him in and have a go.
Everyone wants to see him back, don't they?
Oh,
but
definitely.
Not at the risk of his bloody health.
No, but look, and Adeyemi, I mean, the lesser spotted.
I thought he retired.
Unbelievable scene.
I think you have got more chance of digging up a T-Rex in your garden or something than him actually getting an appearance. It's unbelievable.
Alex Pryke, do you think we've put all our eggs in Hurst's basket, meaning there's no other choice to back him?
Well, there's always a choice, isn't there? But I do think he's been allowed too much free rein on the squad effectively this summer. I don't understand if Evans is annoyed with him, which again I said earlier could just be rumours. But if Evans is annoyed, how has Evans allowed him to sign 12 players, to sort of send these guys out on loan, to sort of to mould the squad so heavily in this first window? Surely there should be someone. I know Evans isn't out the training ground much, and I think this is a problem, that there's no one there with any authority to sort of keep an eye on things. And if Hurst is failing and fails, I think Evans only has himself to blame for the lack of due diligence or the lack of control since he's been appointed.
Is Harry Redknapp in a job at the moment? Moving on. Tom Rumsey says, he's talking about sports science. I think we've done that. Beacon Bow is talking about that quarter of a season, D-Day, whatever, we've done that. This is Beanie. Dave, can you give me any crumb of comfort, please? November the 24th, Blue Monday, live. Be there.
We'll have won a game by then.
Yes. Maybe the West Brom one. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that might be. What a catalyst that'd be for the live show. No, I can't. At this moment in time, I cannot grasp any crumbs of comfort. Really, no. No.
I'm just going to read this to boost our egos. This is Andy Gray, not that one.
Please. Oh, is it not?
With an E.
Take a boo.
There would have been a tick a boo for John McGinn, wouldn't there? Jesus.
Let's go straight to the goals.
Are you watching Bake Off? You watch Bake Off?
Is your other half on there yet?
No.
Bloody well should be.
I spoke to her about that, but you know, Andy Gray would bring out his take a bow, but he'd only bring it out once every 3 months or whatever. Paul Hollywood, he does the handshake thing when they do a good. He's doing it too much, and it's having.
Oh, is he? I do watch it. Is he?
Yeah, too much. Anyway,
he did it twice in one show a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly. Andy Gray, not that one, says, "P.S. As poor as we are currently, your podcast would sit nowhere near the bottom."
Oh,
thanks, Andy. Oh. November the 24th. Come see us live at the.
Jeez, and
at the Curve Bar. What we got? Renegade Statman.
Who?
We reminisce about Bobby Robson fighting with Baxter and Carroll. So why are we incensed that Hurst is stamping his own authority? You always trust Statman to come up with the complete opposite to everybody else says, can't you?
Yeah.
Is he just exerting his authority?
I'm not sure it's come to fisticuffs yet, Stat, has it? Well, we don't know. Is he also? I don't know. I said this before. Is he Hurst being about? I mean, obviously Doig, his number 2 is it looks like an enforcer, doesn't he? He looks like someone not to be messed with, doesn't he? But Hurst is, I don't know.
Hurst and Bart in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I'm backing Bart really.
You'd think I'd go with Bart every time. Bart against Doig though.
What would Bart's finishing move be? It would be like the poleaxe.
He'd get a can of Tisky and smash it around his head.
You think Bart would fight dirty, do you? Mark, do you think Paul Hurst's post-match quote that he spoke to the players and said, "If I'm in any shape or form making it more difficult for them to play, please come and see me and I'll try and take that away," is an admission he may have made mistakes with his approach to the squad. He has been quite contrite about a few things, hasn't he? He did admit the three at the back didn't work, didn't he?
But also, I didn't say, he admitted yesterday that he got it wrong with Walters with hindsight, didn't I? Mean, okay, it's easy to say that, but he said perhaps, looking at it, the injury he picked up was as a sort of compensatory to the Achilles injury that he had. So he said immediately afterwards that he probably got that wrong. But, yeah.
I think he's talking a little bit too much about things like this. He's seeming to show a number of doubts when you seems to be doubting himself and too many things too publicly. I think he needs to sort of stand up a bit stronger at the moment.
Interesting. This is last one we'll do. This is Steve, who I met before the game. How many of our current problems can be traced to the previous regime? Joe.
I don't think many, to be honest. Maybe you can sort of say we've got some players that aren't that comfortable on the ball, but I'd say our best players yesterday were Knudsen, Skoos and Chambers. And they're probably the only free survivor members. And I don't think, like I say, we've the previous regime has allowed £10 million in transfer fees to be raised, which has allowed this spending spree. So I wouldn't say much. We've still got the academy in place. Klug is still producing the players, but it's not translating to the first team at the moment.
David?
I think the disappointing thing for me, Ben, is this whole, and stage manage as it was when the owner comes out. Was it April now? Crikey, 6 months ago nearly, when he comes out and says about the 5-point plan, and the key point, one of the key cornerstones of the 5-point plan was the academy and getting academy kids into the first team. And I think I don't think any three of us here would think that we'd be sitting in the new season with Downs fit, Dazelle, okay, we all think he's fit, hopefully, and Nydam, and not one of them would be anywhere near the team. Did we think that? I didn't. I got Downs to a degree, but I never thought
definitely
that.
Not. Especially when you saw sort of Ben Morris came on a sub on the first day of the season and looked sharp.
Nydam's the one that gets me. Nydam, I'd class him, all right, perhaps a year. He's a year behind him, but the lad we got in from Fulham, very similar players, surely, aren't they? Well, what does he do that Nydam doesn't? Very similar.
I'd agree with
trained
stature and in stature as well. You're not saying he's any stronger.
Been coached by Slavisa Jokanovic, not Mick McCarthy.
Well, okay, all right. Look, yeah. Other than that, all right. He trains most days with Ryan Session. A good point.
Tom Kenny.
Did he though? He was in there under 23s.
Well, yeah, exactly.
He wasn't in and around the first team squad, so I can't imagine.
To me, I quite like him. I think Eden's a player. I do like him, but tell me he's that much better than Nydam. I don't see it. Very similar player.
I think he's better than Nydam currently at the moment, but in a year's time, what is going to be more useful for Ipswich Town Football Club? Yeah. Tristan Nydam getting 20 games under his belt, or Tayo Eden getting 20 games under his belt and going back to Fulham.
Exactly.
I
don't.
The 5-point plan would have been a pentagon, wouldn't it? You were talking about the corners. If the 5 points, that makes a pentagon, doesn't it? The corners would be one of those open angles. You know when you send the cornerstone of the 5-point. That was all I was thinking about when you were saying. I'm having one of my days today. Thank you for everybody who tweeted in
the pointy bits.
Thank you for everybody who tweeted in your questions. Please get them in every week. They form a vital part of our show, and we love to interact with our audience. And we'd love you to come on November the 24th, where you can interact face to face at the Curve Bar for the Blue Monday live show. Right, I say it every week. Let's do the roundup. We'll do the roundup quickly because you just want to talk about John McGinn's goal, Dave, don't you?
That's the only bit of Championship football I've seen this weekend.
So, you need to see. Joe.
Yeah, well,
I have seen it.
What else do you need to see?
Leeds 1, Birmingham 2. Leeds are falling apart again.
I mean, what a championship! What a typical championship result that was. Where the hell did that result come from?
Well, we're playing
Birmingham
next week.
Been playing well, I think. So I think they've been very unlucky not to win a game. And Gary Monk back at his old club.
Yeah, Monk has said that they have been a bit unlucky. I mean, they missed a penalty against you. Were you not? Were you there? I can't remember. West Brom was it? Jota misses a penalty. Game, 2-up. Yeah, that's, to be fair, I don't think that. Yeah, and they're drawn. I think they only lost twice. They've drawn like 6 games, haven't they? So yeah, it could have gone either way.
Hard to beat. Hold that thought for a few minutes' time. Borough 0, Swansea 0. Can't be bothered to just move on. Yeah.
Didn't concede.
West Brom 2, Millwall 0. Here's my prediction, right? if Barnes, Gale, and Rodriguez are fit, one of them will score in every game. All three of them start. You see that happening? All three of them start. One of them will score in every game that happens.
I would, yeah, that would be a pretty good bet. That one, yeah.
I think it will happen there.
Potent threesome.
You just wonder whether Darren Moore against Pulis and Bielsa will have
Will be clever and cute enough. Yeah, probably not.
We'll see. The Sheffield United number 17 has a really good game as Sheffield United beat Preston 3-2. They come back from 2-0 down Preston to get it to 2-2. There's a lovely set play goal here, Dave, as well. Basham heads in from whose cross? Oliver Norwood's cross. And then,
great head, yeah.
And then the Sheffield United number 17 scores the winner.
Did you also see the Sheffield United number 17 played 91 minutes as well? When did that ever happen? He didn't quite last. He didn't last 90 plus 4, but I can't even remember him ever playing that. You know, he's always.
Well, someone who was very lucky to last 90 plus 4 was Joe Garner as Wigan beat Bristol City 1-0, and the Ipswich Town Twitter comes alive. Joe, your thoughts on Joe Garner's kung fu tackle kick wrestling on Adam Webster?
Well, it's a straight red card, isn't it?
It's brilliant, though, isn't it?
If the ref sees it's a red card, and I don't know whether. I suppose he must just know that maybe Webster's a bit soft if you get into him, because he must know him well, because that looked very calculated, didn't it?
I miss him.
And he even gave him the eyes afterwards, didn't he? I mean, that looked pretty. To me, it looked quite vindictive. To me, that was wow.
Dave, yeah. I miss him. I miss him lots.
I know you do. I know.
He's one of my real favourites. He was. Derby 3, Brentford 1. The Nuge scores in this one. Looks like Lampard's. I asked some Derby fans on YouTube whether that was Lampard's best performance, and they've got it going. So looking good for Derby. I'm going to move straight on. Forest 1, Rotherham 0. You can, without even being at this game, you'll know that Rotherham stuck 10 behind the ball and played on the counter. And
86-minute pen, wasn't it?
Forest broke them down in the 86th, which brings us on to Villa 1, Wednesday 2. And Dave, you can describe your favourite goal ever, even better than Johnny Method's free kick and anything by Glenn Hoddle. Even better than Maradona against England. Even better than anything that the Phenom Ronaldo did.
Not quite, but you will struggle to see. I don't think you'll see a better goal this season. Certainly not in the Championship. I'll be very surprised. So it's the Villa equaliser. So Sheffield Wednesday have gone 1 up. Matthias scored, I think. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes later. I think Adoma gets a ball wide. I think it's El Mohammed. He slings in a big cross. Baker, who's the former Villa player, isn't he? Sort of gets. Is that no? It's not him, is it? No, he's Bristol City, I think. Anyway, sorry, ignore that. Gets in a bit of a muddle and sort of heads it back towards his own 6-yard box. Someone else heads it clear. Good clearance. It's dropping out of the sky. Between 22, 23 yards. This is talent. It drops out of the sky, and McGinn, just the technique he shows, just hits it on the full. And for you, Ben, it's in the top bin, as they say. But it's barring in. It's everything. It's barring in as well. A goal.
Should we start a crowdfunder to get Barry Davis to voice over that goal? He would have lost his shit, wouldn't he? He would have blown every bit of sound gear.
Superb commentary by the guy. I don't know who's commentating on. The commentator last night who did the summary of it. But he even said, "I've never heard an actual commentator say." He said, "And he even looks a better goal because it hit the bar and in." I was like, "Yeah, what a strike!"
There was that angle from it behind. Wasn't it?
Well, the ball just so good. He actually gets a bit of curve on it as well. It curves. Oh my god, it's Yeboah-esque. Ben.
Moving on. Qpr Nil, Norwich 1. I hate to break it to you, Norwich had a really good week. They were the only team to win all 3 games in the 3-week game week. And I saw them on Wednesday at Reading, and Pookie is better than we all thought as well. So this is quite depressing.
Clever goal he scored yesterday. Incredible goal. How he chested it in, how he sort of repositioned himself and chested it in. Yeah. Should have had a QPR. Should have nailed on penalty right at the end. I don't know if you saw the highlights. Absolutely. No. Luongo just about to pull the trigger about 6 yards out, and Steeperman, or could have been closer actually, just pushes him over right in the chest. No play on. I haven't seen it.
Bloody Norwich. Hey,
Joe, Norwich.
Would you let Saido Berahino take an injury time penalty?
Has he scored a goal yet?
Yes,
Yeah, he
earlier
scored
in this game.
Oh, he scored one.
Yeah.
Oh, earlier in this game, but he hadn't scored for like
2
3
seasons.
years, had he?
Yeah, 2
2
seasons.
seasons, and no, I wouldn't.
I think this is his second goal. Didn't he not score in the cup? But yeah, I wouldn't know.
No, and one other question. Is Bradley Dack still going to be at Blackburn in February?
That's a shout, mate. That's a shout. I bet they hope he will be.
Well,
yeah.
they apparently turned down 15 million from West Brom for him, didn't they, in August? So if they're willing to turn down that sort of money, I can't see that fee going any higher. So
No, fair point.
how much do they want for him?
Reading 3, Hull 0. This is really depressing, right? Because I saw Hull on Saturday, and they weren't very good, and they beat Ipswich. And then I saw Reading on Wednesday, and they weren't very good. And then Reading beat Hull 3-0.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good, mate.
Should we talk about John O'Shea being sent off with a bit of tissue over his mouth whilst bleeding?
Oh no, I didn't notice that. I saw he got sent. Didn't he? Oh, cool.
Classic.
Warrior.
38.
Warrior.
Yeah, but I bet John O'Shea's got like 7 Premier League Champions winners medals and 2 Champions Leagues, hasn't he?
Yeah, easily.
One Champions League, I reckon.
Has he?
How
many did Fergie win? 99.
Chelsea game.
2008.
Chelsea game.
Oh, and they lost twice in the final to Barcelona, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So I think probably one at best. I'm sure he perhaps would have played in that, wouldn't he? Or got
Maybe Wes Brown has 2.
That could be possible. 99 have been around in 99, wouldn't he? Yeah. Don't know.
Jonathan Greening. Extrapolate. Ipswich 23rd with 5 points from 9 games.
Clayton
so
Black.
We picked up nowhere near. We picked up. He took a mean free kick. Clayton Blackmore.
Thunder boots.
Picked up 2 points during the win, so the projection has gone 0.55 points per game up to 25 points from the season. So we're not in Mick McCarthy's Sunderland or Paul Warren's Rotherham territory, but a good strong relegation at this rate. Knudsen and Chambers, the only guys who have played the full set of 810 minutes.
Can I just quickly interject? How many points do we think? How many points did we have after how many games when the previous manager came?
I think it was 7 after 13.
Actually, that might not be a bad total this year. I think of games coming up.
Another 2 draws in the next 4. Yeah,
another 2 draws, two solid draws in the next 4.
Solid 0.5 points per game there.
2 home draws, 2 away defeats.
Imagine that. You did the whole season losing all your away games and drawing all your home games. That would be incredible.
Can you see them winning an away game at the moment? No, I can't.
No.
Just a quick one back to you, Ben.
Yeah.
You obviously watch a lot of Championship football. Have you seen 3 worse sides than us this season?
Good question.
No, but Hull are bad, Reading are bad, Rotherham won't score any points away from home, and Birmingham might get deducted 15. Okay. So that's four possibles. But
yeah, I don't. The teams that's down at the moment, I don't see Preston and Millwall.
Preston are good, yeah.
And Millwall will get enough points at home and scrape results away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, we know if nothing changes, it's relegation, isn't it? But I can't see nothing changing for the whole season, whether that means on the pitch or off it. Where do we get to? So Jackson's tied Edwards now on 2 goals as the top scorer in all competitions. Top assists, 5 players tied on 1 assist, including Freddie Sears. Should we go to 2 Little Ducks anyway? Go back to the past, Dave. You love
forgotten about this. Yeah, where we going, Ben?
We're going.
Let me get it up. Let me get it up on my iPad. Hang on. Where are we?
That's cheating. No,
I'm not. Just.
It got very this week in ITFC history there. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Where are we going? Where are we going, Stat?
Where are we going, Stat? We're going to the 6th of April, 2002, and it's a vital relegation battle between Bolton Wanderers and Ipswich Town, and it's Bolton 4, Ipswich 1 on the 6th of April 2002. A must-win game to avoid relegation. The rules of 2 Little Ducks are both Dave and Joe can play. They can confer. They're going to try and name as many of the 22 players that started in this game. We give them both a gimme, which is their what do you call that? Your golden goose. But if they say a wrong player, they are out. Okay. Are we ready? Who wants to say the obvious one first?
Ferdy Bobic.
Freddie Bobic, yes, one.
Oh, Ferdy. Oh, he's giving me that.
Ferdy from the Black Eyed Peas. She couldn't score a hat trick. Have you seen her singing the national anthem at that basketball game?
No.
Let me guess, it went on for ages.
It was but what, like this podcast? It was really bad.
Will I am putting in an appearance?
No, I think I don't think they get along. Joe?
Oh, sorry.
Well, Matt Holland never missed a league game, did he? So
Matt Holland, there we go.
I was going to say him. James Clapham.
Used substitute and he did score, yes. But that one doesn't count towards your total.
Oh, okay.
That's fine, you're still in. George Burley made a triple substitution at half time. I think we were 4-0 down.
Andy Marshall.
Andy Marshall's a great shout.
Oh, that's a good shout. Did
he concede some awful goals in that game, Joe?
I'd imagine so.
There's a Bolton player in here, guys, that played 600 games for Bolton.
600?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, where were we? Bolton.
He might be mates with Timu Pukki.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hang on. Yeah, UC Jääskeläinen.
There we go. I can see a World Cup winner, Joe.
Yuri Djurkaev.
Dave, I can see a 2 times African Footballer of the Year down here. No, don't say no. Playing for Ipswich.
So,
don't say JJ Okocha. Sorry, I just realised.
No, I was going to say Finidi George.
Finidi George, one of my all-time favourites.
You love him.
I do.
Jermaine Wright.
Do you want to play your golden goose on that one, Joe?
I suppose I should.
Yeah, you suppose you should. No, Jermaine Wright is not there, but it's a good thing that you played your golden goose on that one, or you would have been out on 6, Joe. David?
What year is it?
2002. One of your favourite attacking midfielders.
Herman Hreidarsson.
Herman Hreidarsson, good, number 7.
Marcus Bent.
Yes, Marcus Bent, number 8.
Titus
Brown was a huge substitute, so that's okay. You're safe.
Reaction.
Mark Venus.
Mark Venus. If I do this...
I can't see you, Ben, on my screen.
Oh, dear. I'm doing Kevin Nolan's goal celebration.
Kevin Nolan?
Kevin Nolan, good. That's number 10 there. I think that's an acceptable total now. No more gimmies from now on.
John McGreal.
John McGreal's good. 11. They don't need him.
Jim Magilton.
No, Jim Magilton. You're out. But very, very good effort there. Right, let's go through these. There's some players in this Bolton team, Dave. Jääskeläinen.
Let me stop. Kevin Davis?
No.
Making.
I'll go through it. Jääskeläinen, Ngotti, Barnes, Whitlow, who you love, Joe, Charlton, Warhurst, Gardner, Nolan, Djurkaev, Bobic, Wallace. Used subs, Franson, Ricketts, Holdsworth. The Ipswich team, Marshall, Wilness, McGreal, Venus, Hreidarsson, Peralta, Holland, Miller, Finidi, Bent, Alan Armstrong. Used subs, Titus Bramble, Jamie Clapham, Marcus Stewart.
There's a little Marcus Stewart there for you.
Oh no! Oh no! But
put it up again, Joe. Best bit of the podcast. That, look at that, beautiful. Look at that goatee beard. He had that done at Mikey's Kurdish barber, didn't he? That we always talk about. Dave, Birmingham City next. We know that they're quite solid. They haven't lost many games. Keefton, Belden, Gardner, good shield in front. Yotta and Magoma, good wingers. Powerful forwards, but not necessarily the biggest poachers. I know Adams scored 2 goals, but Adams and Jutkiewicz you wouldn't call. They're kind of neither of them are real out-and-out strikers. But when you're bottom of the league, that's a difficult game, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see us getting anything there. We're not, are we? We're not, though, are we? We're not going to get anything. Are we? We're not. It's getting all so predictable. Soft touch or what? Yeah, we aren't getting anything there. Joe.
Yeah, no, I think they looked a good side. I've seen him twice this year.
Yeah.
And they should have won both those games. They by all accounts played well against Leeds yesterday and deserved the win. And I think, like I said, Gary Monk's a good manager, and I think they're a good side. And like I say, we're going to struggle.
Yep.
Is Paul Hurst going to line up with this similar team now? We all moaned about him tinkering too much. Are we going to see Well, he could even go unchanged, couldn't he?
Get Donatian in at right back.
Do you know? In previous seasons, even last season, you always had like hope. Do you know what I mean? There were games like, oh yeah, okay, we didn't win against Bolton because McGoldrick was coming back, or Waghorn missed out with an injury. Do you know what I mean? Or rested, or something like that. But you always had hope that, okay, we've got Birmingham away next week, but McGoldrick might be fit enough, and Waghorn
Selena
might
play,
be back. Do you know what I mean? And Selena, we've got nothing, mate. I look at it now, and we haven't got anything like that. That's the worrying thing. That's the worrying thing.
Lacking real quality.
Absolutely.
In that final third.
That's the thing that worries me a lot. We've got very little.
Well, this is rubbish, then, isn't it?
Well, it is, but well, do you disagree, Ben? What do you think? You've seen it all, most of it.
Yeah, I've seen most of it. Can't. Well, there's,
any away game this season. All right, Rotherham, I suppose.
I wasn't at Rotherham. Yeah.
Okay, Rotherham aside, where I think we did dominate for perhaps 20 minutes, didn't score, but then I think it was fairly even and game.
But against Rotherham, you watch the highlights. Well, Ellis Harrison had a good chance, but that was it. There was one good chance in the game.
That's it. A long ball from Chambers, on a good bit of skill. Yeah. I think Nolan had a shot wide and stuff. But you've seen other away games. Okay, Derby was. We are in the game still in the game at 0-0. We didn't create anything, did we?
No, and I think that's the biggest issue, because the defensive record's not terrible, and only losing 4 games isn't terrible. It's the lack of goals and the lack of goal scoring chances, because when you look through the goals as well.
You posted it, I think, earlier this time, but after the 10 games, so after Saturday, so after the 10th game last season was Sunderland at home. All right, we scored 5 that day, but I think after that game, we'd won 7, drawn 0, lost 3. We scored 18 goals.
Yeah, it was 19 goals in the first 9. I was a bit annoyed at that stat, because
19.
That stat was attempting to prove that we were really good in front of goal last season and we're really terrible this season, in the typical binary football fashion. When the truth is, yes, we're bad in front of goal this season, but we weren't that good in front of goal last season. We were the 15th top scorers in the division. So
how it panned out. Yeah.
But we just had good finishes last year, really, didn't we? We didn't create a lot, but
we had that Garner. We had that ridiculous start where we'd scored 8 goals from 10
Well, you talk about quality in those games. We had 4 forwards on the pitch. We invariably had Sears, McGoldrick, Garner, and Waghorn all on. So
Sears. Here's the thing. Sears, is there a shout for him to come in out of the cold and I don't know, play up? Something. Well, no, Jackson's probably got that spot now, but surely there's a shout for him to at least be on the bench, isn't it? He's just disappeared. Is he playing under 23s, Joe?
He hasn't been, no.
Not even in the squads.
But even Danny Rowe, he was playing well for the under 23s. Went to Hull, came off the bench against Hull, and he wasn't even because they have a 20-man first team squad effectively for games.
Yeah.
And I was down at Playford Road in the morning watching the under 18s, and he was just training with the under 23s, and then Donatian and Kenlock were the 2 unlucky ones to miss out, because before the game they do a full sort of rundown effectively. So, like I say, Rose has gone from being a U sub last weekend to not even in the 20-man squad.
I like Rose, but you guys were there by all accounts. I think he touched the ball 3 times when he came on and gave it away every time, didn't he, or something? Is that right?
He didn't do anything of note. Certainly not. He didn't really get involved at all. But
he's but in fairness to him, it's his first game time in God knows how long. Yeah, at first team level. You think at least could be on the bench for Tuesday. I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Messi. So not expecting. Yeah. But as we always say, the championship we have on very good authority is bonkers. And just when you've given up hope, we will win. We will win from somewhere. I promise you, we will. So yeah, we shall see what happens. Birmingham, Dave, you back with This Week in ITFC History? This week?
Yeah, we are. We've got some crackers this week. We've got one game, I know, with the famous game where, including the goal that never was. We've got that game, and we've got amongst the other games, we've got quite a recent game.
Oh yeah,
and we have
just mentioned it.
We did, and we have got, and obviously we've got a Kevin Beattie game in there. Yeah, so it's a good game this week.
So check that out, middle of the week. Rich and Harry will be previewing the Birmingham game, and they're going to give you far more reason to be optimistic than we just managed to do. I know I've been a little bit flippant plugging the live show, but we're really looking forward to it. It's something we're putting a lot of effort and energy and some money behind as well. So we would really
Ben's actually designed me a sandwich board, so I'm going to be walking up and down.
The end of the world is nigh, yeah.
End of the world is nigh. The Blue Monday Live podcast. Get your tickets here.
But please do tweet any of us for details, and all of you people who said, "Oh, I'm coming along," please do grab a ticket because it really help us out. Also on the YouTube channel now, I've started doing some predictions before the weekend.
How'd you get on? Yeah, I must admit,
3 out of 11 this week.
Bad.
Yeah, well, top two both
Are you
played
going to
at
keep
home.
a record of these?
Well, people will just, obliterate me on YouTube, won't they? Which is the fun us
standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, Joe. Where can we follow you on Twitter?
At Joe Fairs.
And are you going to be tweeting from the under 23s tomorrow?
Yeah, that'll be on at ITFC_Academy.
Yeah, that's worth doing because Joe live tweets a lot of these games and often is quicker than the official account sometimes. So I'm watching it on my thing come down.
I might go along tomorrow. Yeah, I haven't been down this season.
Well, there you go. And David Diamond of the Blue Monday podcast will also be there. So
can't promise, but I'm thinking about it. Let's see how cold it is.
Can't promise. And if you do see any of us at games, we met a few people on Tuesday, didn't we, Dave? Do come and say hello. Don't do that thing where you kind of stare and go, "Is that the guy off the podcast?" Come and talk. Just come and say hello.
Just quickly, did you see the tweet from our friend Mark Whitehead, who we met, I think before the first game of the season, an old football mate of mine whose daughter was just about to go on a soccer scholarship to the States. She's got her first goal. Yeah, scored her first goal this week. Yeah, which was they had their first win this week. I know she set up the goal. I think Anna Whitehead.
Was it as good as John McGinn's?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry,
Anna.
No, she didn't. It was an assist by Anna, not a goal assist. Sorry, but yeah, no. There will not be a better goal this season. Shoot me down. There won't be a better goal this season than that.
Shoot
anywhere
me down.
In the world.
Joe, say goodbye.
Nominated for the Bush Award. Goodbye.
Dave, say goodbye.
See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Even better back to Stewart. Oh, he's going to be